Okay, cool. I have a demo of Claude Design. I'm going to pull up our current landing page for the shift. Features a few episodes, a button to subscribe for updates. It's cool as a simple landing page.
Our
But the
mug.
promise of Claude Code is that it is going to be this all-purpose conversational designer that is as easy to use as Claude itself or Claude Code. If I said Claude Code, this is
Claude
the
Design.
promise of Claude
All
Design.
right.
Yeah. So let's walk through, generally speaking, the way that it works. The first thing is, let me resize this so it gets a little better here. They're all all the designs in Claude Design are based off of design systems. So the first thing that you'll end up doing is creating a design system. And what I did is I dropped in a link to the Shift website, the Shift's logo. I took a screenshot of the current page and I dropped that in the chat as well. And I was like, okay, make a design system for this. And what I ended up with is a whole little kit here. Here is, oh, let me refresh. That was just there. Yeah. So here is its understanding of the current landing page with all the styles it has. It breaks out all of the font styles, and I can approve them. I can tell it needs some work. Let's pick one to have it do some work with. It actually did a really good job, so I don't want to screw anything up. So, like, let's say, let's make a change to this one. What would we want to do here instead? Make the titles sentence case. So we'll submit that. It's going to do its thing. You can see that it actually submitted it right to the chat, and it called out the component that it's editing, the episode card.
You could have done that in the chat, but you would have had to be more explicit about what component you were talking about or whatever.
Yes, right? Yeah. But you can see it did make that change. Looks cool. And the nice thing is at the top, it gives you a little walkthrough for you to kind of just quickly review and either approve or modify your design system. So let's do it. The hero treatment, that looks fine. Colors for the ink neutrals, that looks great. Mint scale, love it. Signal accents, oh, that's cool.
It could work.
Just for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to go through this.
Oh, we're not actually going
to. Components. I mean, if you see something that you think is like egregious, let's fix it.
Let's not teach bad design.
Yeah, let's see. So anything here we would want to change? This all just looks pretty great. But if we want to, let's say, replace the radio icon with one of an actual radio. Bang. Okay. That looks fine. The nav bar, that looks pretty good. Although the watch live text, the gray watch live text is unreadable on the Mint button. This is actually a fantastic pattern for reviewing AI-generated content. Like it shows you component by component. So here's the updated icon set with the radio icon. That looks great.
And I feel like this is going like pretty head to head with a platform like Lovable. And like from personal experience, like Lovable will do like security checks and stuff like that for you, but it's not giving you like a breakdown to review this kind of like it's on you to go through the website, the app, whatever you've built with it, and make sure that everything is like as you expected it. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And it definitely seems like it's positioning itself to compete with Lovable and with Figma. If you haven't used Figma, it's like a user interface design tool. It is the most popular tool for designing applications, and this is squarely pointed at Figma and at conversational web builders like Replit and Lovable and that.
Well, and everybody was like so obsessed with like Figma to Claude Code workflows, and they've just taken Figma out of the
yes,
they're trying to take them out of that ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay, so it updated my watch live. You know what? I'm not gonna go through all of this. That demonstrates the concept, but then from there,
to say the least.
Yeah. From there, I asked it to create a landing page, a new version of the Shift landing page. And this is what I got. And my prompt was not super detailed. What
Yeah.
I said is I want to create a landing page for the Shift live stream that highlights the benefits people will get and give them a place to sign up for our newsletter. It should also list out recent episodes from our channel on YouTube, link to the YouTube channel, and some of these shorts, and I included some shorts. Highlight that it's both fun and you'll learn AI tips that you can put into practice right then and there. And the section or the part of this that I'm not showing is when you submit a job to Claude Design. Actually, you know what? I'll do a new one so you can see what it looks like. And then we'll come back and we'll do some potential caveats. But we'll call this one the Shift email newsletter. And we're gonna say, create me a newsletter template for the Shift. Send that. And hopefully what it's going to do is it's going to come back with a series of questions for me. And you can see it's writing out these questions now to better tailor what it creates. Mm-hmm. So what format should this render as? Let's do email save client. Recap the most recent episode. Oh, no, standalone AI tip of the week. Let's do that, loosely tied to the show.
I just got to say, too, this was one of my favorite things of the experience when I was playing with Claude Design, was this like multiple question and response all kind of at once, and giving it that up front with all these like pre-populated options. It just felt like it was such a more efficient way of refining before it tried to build, and then having to refine, 100 times from there.
Yeah, and a neat thing about this is this might seem like a lot. And I mentioned last week that sometimes I'll see questions and I'm like, why are you even asking me this? I'm going to skip this. I'm going to not even fill all these in. I'm just going to hit continue. And a really neat behavior of Claude Design that I just ran into while I was preparing for this demo is if you don't respond for too long, I don't know how long that is, but at least a couple minutes, it is not going to just sit there and be like, well, I guess I'm not going to create anything. Instead, what it does is like, okay, I'm going to go with what I think is right. Like I left my demo for this just sitting in a tab because I was like, I'll walk people through the questions and then we'll see what it creates. But in the time that between when I left it and I came back, it had realized to itself, well, I'm not going to get answers. I may as well give him something and then he can iterate with me. And it created the landing page, which is great.
It made me laugh when you were telling me that earlier too, because like in my old life, I hired a lot of paid interns and stuff like that were in college or whatever, or just beginning their careers. And it was like one of the biggest things, the difference between like success and failure with a new intern was like the ones who, if they didn't have all the answers, took initiative and tried to do something anyway, versus the ones who sat there at their desk going, well, I was waiting.
Yes.
And you were, wait, you've been sitting at your desk all morning doing nothing? You know?
Yeah, that's a great analog there, man. So let's look at the page. It did a really good job in general. It looks cool. It looks good. We don't do 90-minute webinars. We don't ask you to transform your enterprise. We do 30 minutes twice a week and leave you with one thing that works. That's pretty awesome. That's great. This is cool.
Visit AWeber.com/theshift in just a few days to see this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, man. Because like, here's one thing
we're not letting this just go on the demo waste pile. This is getting put into practice.
Yeah, like this is such a great idea. A stealable prompt right there. Links to some shorts that you can play right here. They're embedded. Links to the shows. Yeah, that's great. So let me show you a couple cool things about Claude Design. This is the one piece that I think is just the smartest, different thing. Because you could have created something like this in Lovable, and you would have gotten something pretty similar if you worked with Lovable or with Figma. But this is the neatest part to me, is while it was designing the application or the landing page, it recognized that there were different places where it could provide different options. And these are what they call tweaks. So it gave me a couple different varieties of the hero headline. This is the default. Punchy, stop guessing at AI, start using it. Practical, the 30-minute AI show for people running a business. That is so cool. I could see a dark theme or a light theme. dark. The accent. Oh, that's changing the green color.
Yeah, the mint.
Yeah, tip card. All right, let's go to the tip card. What is that? Oh, I guess that is this one. Tip of the week. It just lets me change it. I can just hide the short section, and I can hide the
not include. Yeah.
Yeah, but the concept there is the cool part. Is it recognized that I might want options in certain areas, and it gave me those options. A couple other cool things is I can kind of collaborate here by commenting on specific things, and I can tweak the settings of specific elements. They call these things knobs. So I can click on anything, and I get contextually appropriate settings for that thing. So if I click on the Get Reminders button, it gives me settings related to the button. If I click on an image, I get different content or different settings related to an image. Let's see if I can find something a little more complex. So this is like a component itself that includes both an icon and text, and it gives me all of the styles for that component. So I don't have to hunt down into the text section to edit the text or the icon section to edit the icon. Is there an even more complex one? Let's see. It's a good one. Let's check out this host card. What does it give me? Yeah, so it gives a ton of different things that I could change. Like if I want to change this all to,
like I want a thicker border on where the headshot's gonna go on that.
Yeah. So to do that, I think there we would need to go into the headshot itself. But like, let's set that border to 2.6. Oh, that was just the bottom.
Yeah, it's actually. I mean, it's kind of nice. It's actually giving you complete control.
Cool. So now, thicker border on there.
Yeah.
Cool. This one I haven't even touched yet, but let's see. Like, what does draw do? Let's see. So
I have not tried draw.
Let's try. Which we draw. Let's do. I'm gonna say. Oops. Well, let's
TBD.
What's a cool one? Let's see. What about if we put like a cat here or something like that? Let's try that. We'll put an eye there. There's its nose. We'll give it a little mouth. And now, I just sent it. Whatever that does.
We're gonna see.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's gonna do.
Like, is it gonna actually generate like an SVG set, or is...
Okay, check this out. Looking at the drawing,
there's a
small cat
amazing
above
artist.
the live bar, and AWeber is circled in the AWeber Presents label. The cat suggests adding a playful mascot element. The circle around AWeber suggests emphasizing, highlighting the AWeber branding. That's pretty darn smart.
Wow.
Let's see. It seems like some of the decisions it's making are going to be interesting. It's going to overlay a hand-drawn SVG circle over the baked-in text region. So maybe like somebody circled it.
Yeah, like to call out the A. Yeah, we should have been a little more specific with color.
hopefully it's still working. No, it's verifying.
Can I be honest? I liked your cat better. Cats don't have that kind of mouth. This is all wrong.
This one definitely seems kind of like a skill issue on my part. Well, I think exploring the thing.
But... Yeah, and I think also like it also represents like how fresh a new this is, and like, you know, some of these features are some more useful than others at this stage, probably.
Well, and also
at least in the right hands.
What it actually points to is a future where I have it open on my tablet with my pencil, and I'm actually marking up and making changes to the website in something that feels more like Procreate or an Adobe app or something like that, and it's actually updating code. That is really awesome. Like, this was a goofy example of that, and it looks like it is trying to improve
generating too. It's like it's creating these SVGs.
Yeah,
these images.
Here, stop doing this. But the okay, so like let's talk about some things related to to this. I do want to go back to a previous version, but I'll do that later. Because I actually do think we should update the Shift website to be this.
Hey, breaking news. We will be updating the Shift website to use most of this.
But the some caveats about this, because this is really cool. It's not going to, the first caveat is it's not going to know what you don't tell it. Mm-hmm. So if you want it to include specific things like a link to your recent YouTube shorts, you have to tell it stuff like that. It might ask you questions about that in the discovery process where it asks you the questions, but don't assume it will. Give it the information that you for sure want on the page.
Yeah.
The other big caveat with this is it burns through tokens. So like if you're on a Claude, whatever the lowest tier term is, you could make one landing page and it'll run through your daily limit. So just be cautious about that when you're using Claude Design right now. Now, I expect that to be something that they get better at, where it is more efficient or your token limits increase. Mm-hmm. But this is something you should just be aware of. This is going to end up being a tool that you pay for in one sense or another, and it's gonna take significantly more tokens than you just running text searches or text conversations, and also generally speaking more tokens than you are using in a typical Claude Code session if you're trying to build a website with Claude Code. Now, what you don't get the benefit of that this has built right into itself is it'll do things like look at what it did visually, not just the code, and verify changes to make sure that it looks right. But it's just something to keep in mind right now.
Yeah.
I just want to show you one more thing. The coolest thing in relation to like this versus Figma or this versus Lovable is this little button right here, handoff to Claude Code. So what we can do here is hand this off to Claude Code in our repository where we have our public site and say like, this is what we want built for the Shift landing page. And it'll use
exact page file, right? We can even,
yes, it'll give you this link to the design file and the README for it, and you can customize this however you need, and then just work directly from that file. So there's no complex handoff at all. I can just like use it in a local coding agent. And the one thing I haven't done on my personal account yet is I've been using Claude Code for web really frequently on my phone, especially, where I'll just queue up tasks for some of the personal projects that I'm working on. And I love the idea of being able to just hit a button from Claude Design for something new that I'm working on, like adding a new graph to one of my existing pages, hit a button and have it implement and check back in when the actual change is live, merge it to production, and have it ready and waiting to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Claude Design. What's the verdict? Do you think we're done? Are we cooked?
No, see, I think this, I had this similar thought about Lovable, and I think Claude Design is just taking it a step further. I don't think I have to go back to organic gardening, except in my free time as a hobby. But it allows us to creative direct the project. I think that it makes like your tastes and specific like vision for it that much more necessary, but you're not doing the hands-on work the same way. I think it takes I actually think it's more of an unlock where it allows any of us to play creative director, and provides the resources that you would need to fulfill your vision. I think to me, I don't, I mean, maybe if I was like just starting out, that, this is, I'm going to learn how to use this really well. Right. But to a small business owner, like, you now get to fulfill your ideas.
Yeah. And I would agree with you. I mean, it has replaced, whether it's Claude Design or other design tools or Claude Code itself, it has already replaced
Yeah.
some design roles. Like the production design tasks that I'm sure you and I came up doing early in our career when you're a junior designer and you're like resizing ad units or making slide decks or PDFs or whatever. Like that stuff is AI can do that as well as many a junior UI designer or a
Mhm.
junior designer. But that was never the important part of design. The important part of design was understanding people,
Mhm.
understanding whatever goal you were supposed to accomplish, and then creating experiences, creating artifacts that help people perform an action or make people feel a certain way. Like
Mhm.
that is the part of design that we need to focus on. No matter how much you like pixel pushing, no matter how zen that might feel for you, like that was never the valuable piece of being a designer.
No,
So we
like
just got
that
to focus on the stuff that matters.